How's it going, everybody? This is Soul Town Productions, bringing you another video of that gangland content. Today, we're going to be talking about a neighborhood located in the city of Los Angeles. This neighborhood is a very notorious neighborhood. Tread lightly when you walk through their neighborhood. They're an old neighborhood from the 60s. And today, we're going to be talking about the Elm Street Watts gang, or Elm Street Watts 13. A well-known Mexican-American street gang located in the Watts district of South Los Angeles, California. The Watts Elm Street have been active since the 1960s and has been around for over 40 years or longer. They are named after a residential street called Elm Street between Bandera Street and Fire Avenue, from Firestone Boulevard to 92nd Street in Los Angeles. On June 18, 2006, a member of the Watts Vario Grape gang killed Henry Castillo, a member of the Watts Elm Street. Later that night, a known member of the Watts Elm Street named George Alfredo Bautista and 4 other Elm Street members drove in the Watts Vario Grape neighborhood and opened fire. However, they missed their intended target, striking an innocent lady, and died 8 days later. On 2006, the following morning, Bautista and fellow Elm Street members shot a member of the Florencia 13 street gang. Bautista was convicted of murder and attempted murder, as well as gang enhancement. Bautista received 25 to life with an additional 25 to life. So 2 25 to lives. Their allies and rivals, the Elm Street Watts, pay tribute to the Mexican Mafia and falls under the Sureño 13 brand. However, they feud with several Sureño gangs such as Watts Vario Grape and Florencia 13. The Elm Street Watts claim Southside Elm Street Watts. Like most Hispanic gangs in Watts, their closest allies are the Watts 13, which are also located in the Florence Firestone region of South Los Angeles. Please, guys, like, comment, share, subscribe to my channel. If you don't, I ain't tripping. So, South Los gang and Elm Street gang are 2 rival gangs, right? Operating in the Southgate and Gardenias areas of Los Angeles County. So here we got a shooting between there was 2 victims in this shooting. Albert Estrada and Robert Gutierrez. Both were members of the South Los gang. They lived with the other 2 victims, Leticia and Rosa Hernandez, which were sisters, at the home of George Hernandez and on Indiana Avenue in Southgate. Most of the other principals in this case were members of the Elm Street gang. That gang had sponsored a dance in Gardena on August 27th, 1983, which apparently was attended by members of both gangs. A fight broke out toward the end of the evening. Members of the Elm Street gang held South Los responsible for the fight, and relations between the 2 groups were tense. The next day, 3 members of the Elm Street gang visited George Hernandez at his home. They told him of the shooting at the dance, and they knew Estrada and Gutierrez were living there and that they had better move to a new location. The record does not reveal whether this warning was transmitted to Estrada or Gutierrez. However, the record indicates that they were still living at the apartment, the Hernandez residence, on August 30, 1983, when the criminal assaults at issue in this case occurred. Defendants were together that evening at Rosales' home with 2 women. Both men were members of the Elm Street gang, and one of them asked Darren Montalvo to come over. When he arrived, Mayfield claimed to have been stabbed at the dance and said that he was seeking revenge. The 3 men and 2 women got into Montalvo's blue Camaro and drove to the neighborhood of the Hernandez residence. They arrived in the neighborhood at about 10 p.m., just as Estrada, Gutierrez, and the Hernandez sisters were driving home. The cars passed in opposite directions. Mayfield identified Estrada as a member of the South Los gang and directed Montalvo to stop his car and put it into reverse in an effort to catch up with the other car. Montalvo tried to comply, but the maneuver was unsuccessful. At Rosales' suggestion, they even drove to Eva Ortega's apartment. Ms. Ortega's boyfriend, Javier Rodriguez, was at the apartment. He, too, was a member of the Elm Street gang. After a short conversation between Mayfield and Rodriguez, the four men drove to Rodriguez's home. Rodriguez went inside and returned with a shotgun and shells, which he gave to Rosales. Rosales loaded the shotgun and climbed into the bed of a black pickup truck owned by Rodriguez. The other three were seated in the cab, with Rodriguez driving, Mayfield sitting on the right passenger side and Montalvo in the middle. As they drove off, Mayfield told Rosales that he would give the signal when to fire. The black pickup slowed as it approached the Hernandez residence. As it did, Mayfield told Rosales to go for it, fire. Rosales fired the shotgun and reported, "I think I hit him." He had shot Rosa Hernandez in the abdomen, inflicting a fatal wound. Estrada was hit in the left calf. Leticia Hernandez and Albert Gutierrez were not injured. The four men went to a woman's house, then left that location, proceeding on 93rd Street. Where they saw a highway patrol vehicle, Rodriguez stopped the pickup and asked everyone to get out. The others did so, Rosales taking the shotgun with him. In the meantime, Southgate police had responded to the shooting. Leticia told one of the interrogating officers that she recognized the black pickup truck as looking exactly like a vehicle owned by a member of the Elm Street gang named Shorty. Shorty is the nickname of Javier Rodriguez, who owned the pickup. A radio bulletin was put out for the vehicle. The highway patrol officers had stopped the truck at about 11:45 p.m. for equipment violations, and they identified it as the vehicle described in the radio bulletin. The officers found spent shell casings in the bed of the truck. The truck was impounded. Later, it was identified by Leticia Hernandez as the vehicle used in the drive-by shooting. Still, later, a series of land-matched prints from Montalvo, Rodriguez, Mayfield, and Rosales. Montalvo fled to Mexico the next day. He turned himself into the police station some 3 weeks later. He originally was arrested for murder, but the juvenile delinquency proceedings against him was later resolved when he admitted having committed an act of voluntary manslaughter. He was placed on summary probation and was promised that he would receive no further punishment in the case if he testified truthfully. Mayfield, Rosales, and Rodriguez were arrested on the day after the shooting. Rodriguez's case is not before us, and Mayfield raises no issue about his arrest. Rosales, however, argues that the police lacked probable cause to arrest him and that the fingerprints evidence obtained as a result of the arrest must be suppressed. So yeah, you know, the life is treacherous. And I got another article here, right? It's the full article on one of the first murders that I mentioned in the beginning of this video. So, on June 18th, 2006, a member of the Watts Vadio Grape Gang killed Henry Carrillo, a member of the Elm Street Gang. At approximately 8 p.m. on July 4th, 2006, 4 Elm Street Gang members, Rascal, Crow, Serio, and Popeye, picked up Bautista, himself an Elm Street Gang member. When he entered the car, Bautista saw that one person had a rifle and another had a handgun. At approximately 11:30 p.m. that evening, Larina Webb was shot. She died 8 days later of multiple gunshot wounds. Webb's cousin, who was nearby at the time of the shooting, was a member of the Watts Vadio Grape Gang. At approximately 1 a.m. the next morning, Felipe Lopez, a member of the Florencia Gang, was shot in an area frequented by Florencia Gang members. After the shooting, Lopez told the police officer that the shooter said, "This is my neighborhood." Lopez was shot in the leg and survived. At trial, it was undisputed that Bautista was present at both shootings. The prosecution's theory was that another Elm Street Gang member was the shooter and that Bautista was an aider and a abettor. So, bulletin number 1, right? Bautista's tape-recorded conversation with Victor Gomez. In a tape-recorded telephone call on July 20, 2006, Bautista was asked by a fellow Elm Street Gang member, Victor Gomez, what happened to the fools from Grape. Bautista responded, "We handled them," and said, "We're trying to take them little by little," Bautista said. "We did it on 4th of July, Bautista further explained. "We smoked a flower fool. We smoked 2 flower fools, and then we smoked a group of fakes." Flowers referred to members of the Florencia Gang. Fakes as a derogatory term referring to members of the Watts Vadio Grape Gang. Bulletin number 2. Bautista's interview with Officer Samuel Marullo. On July 5th, 2007, Officer Samuel Marullo interviewed Bautista speaking of the Elm Street gang. Bautista explained, "You're with the friends, and the friends gonna go beat up somebody, and then I'm with them, I gotta go. I got pumped up. I'm with them in my neighborhood." With respect to the shootings of Webb and Lopez, Bautista said that he was just watching it, the shooting. "I was just right there with them, and that's it." Bautista stated that he got out of the car before the first shooting because he thought he was going to go see some fireworks. Bautista was right behind the two shooters. The shooters were shooting at gangsters and a lot of people. Bautista heard several gunshots after the shooting. Bautista returned to the car because he was scared. The shooting traumatized him, end quote. With respect to Lopez shootings, Bautista explained that the driver saw some guys and stopped the car. Bautista heard the shooting but did not get out of the car. Bautista said he didn't have nothing to do with it and was just watching them doing it. Bautista also informed Marullo that there was to be a third shooting that night, but they missed out and they didn't do it. They were about to do it, but they didn't because they were a lot of families. Bulletin number 3. Gang culture and evidence. The shootings were gang related. Officer Marullo testified that gang members assist in a mission by being present at a shooting, looking out for each other, making plans, and assisting in getting away. When asked a hypothetical based on the facts of this case, Officer Scott Stevens, a gang expert, opened that the crimes were for the benefit of the gang. The murder increased the reputation of the Elm Street gang and was in retaliation of Elm Street gang member Henry Carrillo's killing. Stevens testified that the shootings appeared to have been planned, not spur of the moment. Stevens further explained that even without pulling the trigger, showing up for a shooting was putting in work for the gang. A search of Bautista's home revealed ammunition. When Detective Marullo searched Bautista's bedroom, he found a .22 caliber bullet and photographs of Elm Street gang members. Stephen opened that possession of such ammunition could benefit Bautista's reputation in the gang. The parties stipulated Bautista suffered a prior felony conviction. Bautista argues that the record lacks substantial evidence and that he aided and abetted the murder of Webb and the attempted murder of Lopez, and that he committed other crimes benefiting his gang. He also maintains the court erred in failing to instruct the jury on specific intent and should have instructed the jury on felony assault with a deadly weapon. The Attorney General disputes each contention. So let's keep it real, right? Let's speak the facts. A lot of the times, if you think about it, right, we see older heads, OGs, grown heads, right, manipulating the youth into becoming an image of this gangster, right? But what we need to realize as a people, in reality, that's a kid being manipulated. That's a kid. A lot of kids joining gangs when they were 12, 11, 10 years old, 9 years old. That was a baby. Not knowing what they were doing. That was a baby that probably didn't grow up without a dad. That probably grew up without a dad. That's a baby that probably looked up to the older homies in the street, in the block. You know, at the end of the day, we can't be doing that as a people to our own kids, because the kids are the future. It's like this, man. A whole generation was stolen from us as a people. Many generations were stolen from us through gang violence, through incarceration, through death, through drugs. You know, we've lost a lot of people. And at the same time, we're losing all these generations. Those generations are leaving behind babies. So now the next generation, which is the future, is raised not by fathers, but by older homies, by street homies, by the older heads, right? And a lot of the times, I know we have all met someone that was a shark, that didn't care about the youngsters, that didn't care about the kids. He just wanted them to put in work. Why? Because, oh, he won't do time. He'll get out when he's 21, or, he'll just go to juvie, or, like, there's sharks out there that will make a kid do something, right? And they'll threaten them. They'll be like, oh, you don't do that for the hood, homie. This and that's going to happen. That's a kid, man. And I don't think it's smart to be doing that to the future, because eventually those kids being taught these gruesome acts and these violent ways, eventually they're going to grow up and they're going to be the people in prison, the older heads, and they're just going to repeat the cycle, which might be even more destructive, because now they left behind kids. And now those kids are going to look up to them. Be like, oh, my dad was in prison, this or that. Congratulations on surviving. But let's keep it real. It's hard to survive out here on the streets too. Especially if you want to do things legit. Especially if you're out there working, busting your back, working hours and not getting enough money in return, like it's a struggle out here. And sometimes it feels like we're wasting time in prison. And I'm not saying we as in me, right? I'm saying we as a people. A lot of our people are stuck in prisons, making the white man money, making these rich CEOs and prison investors money. Their pockets are getting filled up. Their kids are driving nice cars, while our kids are stuck in prison. They're stuck in jail, manipulated, incarcerated, not only in jail, but mentally. Our people are being stuck and held under captivity, modern day captivity. That's what it is, and I feel like as long as we just keep ignoring the facts, as long as we just keep looking the other way, or saying, that's the hood, that's how it goes, and he's gonna represent. Nah, man. Let's finish that. Let's say, it ends here. Telling the youngsters, hey, no, you don't. You want to bang? Nah, Charlie, get out of here. Go do something productive. Go do this. Go do that. Or you know what, little homie? Nah, I'm not gonna teach you that. Let's go do this over here. Let's go do burpees over here on the back. Nah, you don't got a gangbang. Let's just do burpees. I'm not telling nobody how to live their life, man. I just I try to be that guy that just tries to give the people around me and the people that I love the best advice that I can. And if this message could reach a kid or a grown man or anybody to step away from the gang violence, that's one person is enough for me, to make this a satisfying thing, because I love podcasting, right? So with that, I'm gonna end this conversation. My people, take care. Please stay safe. Stay away from trouble. Let's use our mind. Let's keep it smart and stay away from problems. Let's make our money as a people, so our kids could be driving around in nice cars. So our kids could be owning houses and owning businesses. And so our kids don't have to work for the man, for the white man, or for any type of elite rich guy, Chales, screw all that. Let's start making it happen for our people. Stay safe, mi gente. Buenas noches.
call my own, so I can stop playing at hide and seek all alone. A love, a true love, one that I can depend